Yeah, it's going good.
So
it's nice to read your stuff on the internet.
Yeah, thank you. How do I pronounce your name?
Jouni.
Jouni?
Yeah, Jouni. It's a Finnish name.
Jouni.
Yeah, Jouni.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you're in Sweden?
Yeah, I'm in Sweden, in Stockholm.
Okay, very nice.
Good. Yeah, nice.
It is good to have somebody else reach out that's out of the country.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can speak great English, so we can communicate.
Right.
I don't know if you heard, but there was an 18-year-old purple belt in Brazil that just had a stroke.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yep.
So sad.
Yeah, and I'm able to watch his recovery on his Instagram. So whoever's following him around and man, it's insane, man. It's insane to see, a lot of guys who are supermen, and then next thing you know, they're learning how to walk again. You know what I mean? And that's where he is right there. So
it's terrible.
And so this last month, so right now we're in June 4th of 2019, but last month in May of 2019, that was the Stroke Awareness Month. And my accident was in 2017, and you know how it is. You recover for a year, and then I went right to work spreading awareness, and this was my year 2019 to really promote it. And a number of people did come and reach out to me. Yeah, it happened to me. Even had a guy, a couple people come in through my DM and ask me questions about their neck and if they should go get it checked out and whatnot.
Yeah.
So at least we're making progress on that note. But I'm very curious to learn more about you. That's what it's about.
Of course.
I want to hear your story. Where do you train? When did this happen? How has it affected your life? So I guess start out with jiu-jitsu. What's your experience with jiu-jitsu and how did that start?
I trained BJJ for like almost 4 years, and I started train like 2014, I think, and I was training really like 4 or 5 times a week, really hard, and I loved it. It was the best time, I had so much fun.
Yeah.
And I had like a mini stroke.
Okay.
It's called like a TIA or something like that. It's a smaller version of a stroke. And it happened to me in November of 2017.
Okay, just after mine, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And afterwards, I've been looking at the internet, and I haven't found like anyone in Sweden who has experienced a stroke after BJJ training.
Yeah.
So now when I was searching the internet just the other week, that's how I found you.
Okay.
And I saw everything about you, what the work you've been doing, and I was like, okay, I have to get in contact with you.
Yeah. Awesome.
To spread the word.
Yeah, it is. And here's what the stories that are coming back to me. It's just like yours. Is I looked on the internet and I couldn't find anything, and but they're like, wow, it's good to hear that there are other people as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when I had my stroke, that I remember when I was in the hospital, it's like, whoa, what just happened? And then you're trying to come to terms with it, and you go right to the internet because you're looking for other stories, and there really wasn't anything out there. And so I started putting out my stories just to let people be aware, like, yo, this is happening. And that's when everybody started coming in. And really what's interesting is that a lot of the accidents or the strokes have been coming within this recent period of time, 2016, 17, 18, 19. And that is, I'm not a economist by any means, but I'm assuming that because jiu-jitsu is becoming more popular, that means there's more bodies. It's becoming more global, so it is happening more frequently. And so, that's part of the reason I wanted to do this project, is just to bring awareness, obviously, to, and then document so that we can say, okay, what are the obstacles that you've had during your stroke? Coming back from it, what are you doing right now? Are you still training?
No, I'm not training BJJ now.
No.
I stopped afterwards. I've been, thinking about starting again, but something in me is like it's scaring me a bit.
Yeah,
I don't know if I should be like really scared if I start rolling again, and it gets into your brain,
it does.
So now I only like to work out at the gym and running and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I miss it. I miss my friends. I miss my teacher.
Yeah.
All the lifestyle. It's like over one night everything was taken away.
That's how a lot of us felt. That was the first thing that we started to. That was my reality. I was really scared that this was taken from me.
Yeah.
I think the good news is, as we bring awareness to this, in coaches learn about it, students learn about it. I mean, it's definitely made a difference at our gym. We definitely train a little bit differently, and just more awareness is what it is. And I think. I mean, even with me, guys, they do roll different with me. They really don't attack my neck anymore, and I appreciate that. But it's been me, having conversations with them, and them getting acclimated to what's going on. So, did it happen to you while you were on the mat, or did it happen after or before? Or?
I can tell you the whole how it was. We were doing some sparring, and I was laying in a person's guard, and he was taking like a cross choke on me.
Yeah.
And he was really strong, and he was like bending me down, but I got my shin in, so I was protected. I could breathe, I could do everything, and I was like, soon he's gonna let go, then I can pass him. And while I was lying down, and he was like, I was thinking maybe this isn't the smartest thing to do, but you know how it is. I wanted to, continue to pass him.
Yes, of course.
And then I was, the session was over. I went home. I got to get my kids from school. I walked the dogs, and then I was going to sit down and read on the phone, and I couldn't read. I didn't understand what it was saying. I was like, "What is this with a newspaper? Don't they have anyone who's, reading it? Something is wrong." And my daughter had a friend. She was playing with my daughter, and her mother was sending me a text, and I tried to read it, and I was like, "What's this?" Oh. And I started to try to reply, and the autocorrect function, it was just putting all these words that I didn't know what it was. So then I was I'm gonna call my daughter and her friend. And I couldn't remember the name of my daughter's friend. It was like totally blown away.
Dude, holy cow.
So then, it was really scary. And I understood like, okay, this is something wrong now. Maybe I'm going to pass out or something. I was home alone with these two girls, and I was like, oh my God, what happened if I pass away now? Are they going to be able to call the ambulance or, And, but then I was going to shout to them. But then I heard my voice. It was like,
oh my God, that's what happened. That's what happened to me. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So then I was like, oh fucking shit. So I was still standing, and and I think at that point, after it was like worse, it started to go back quite quick, So I was, I was just trying to be calm, and I took my phone and I called, to the ambulance. But then when I was waiting for the ambulance, it was, I was getting normal again. I was still in shock, but, I was okay. And I waited maybe 25 minutes or something for the ambulance to arrive. And then when they came, I could talk. I could, I understood what they were telling me and asking me. And
oh, wow.
But I think it was maybe 5-10 minutes, like it was really, really away in my head, and I was really scared, But
I can't.
And the thing I was really.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's fun because the thing I was I was really worried about was the fact what happened. My daughter was 8 years old, I think, at that time, and I was thinking about them. I was thinking about my daughter and her friend. Like, okay, who's gonna take care of them now if I like drop on the floor or whatever? But but then I was taken to the hospital, and immediately 2 doctors came to me, like, and asked me, and stuff like that. And they told me, like, okay, you understand what we are telling you, and we understand you. So right now it's okay. So I waited in the waiting room, and after, I don't remember the time, one doctor came to me, and he knew BJJ, what type of training it was, what you did, and I had this 2 red marks all over my neck, really big, like this.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I don't think you're going to be able to train anymore. We think you have a stroke. And it was a total shock. I was so sad at that moment. I was so sad. I was like, what the fuck? I had a stroke? I'm going to lose my friends. I'm not going to be able to train. It was, it was really sad. So that was and then I was lying in a stroke ward. Do you call it that?
Yeah.
In the hospital for 2 days. And they were like waking me up at night time, and had to do all these tests and look at pictures and stuff like that. So that was what happened. And it was really, I don't know what to say, horrible experience.
Yeah. I can't imagine, and I'm kind of amazed that you were able to dial 911, because as you were telling me the story, like, I was starting to have a panic attack myself, because I do get scared, like, if that happens to me again. I just remember you're trying to think, and like you said, I didn't remember my daughter's names. I was trying to think of my daughters. I was trying to talk to people. They were asking me questions, but just like you said, it was like you couldn't speak. And I get PTSD right now, because when I'm alone, like, I'm like, what's going to happen if this were to happen to me again? You know what I mean? And for you, it sounds like it was like it's a miracle that you were able to kind of come back to be able to make the call.
Yeah.
And that's like my biggest fear is not being able to know how to dial 911, because I'll know something's wrong, but I won't be able to remember 911. Like, it's just, that's how it works with the stroke. It's nothing we can control. Yeah, I could have it tattooed on my arm. Hey, Chris, don't forget to call 911.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's and so the doctors, they think that what did they thought that a clot shot to your brain? Was there a clot prior? Or?
Yeah. No, like a small clot, like a carotid artery dissection, I think.
That's what they
because
yeah.
Yeah. The first I met actually was 3 different doctors that was telling me different things.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. The first one, he was like, it's because of the BJJ, and it's because of this neck thing. And the other one was telling me, no, it's not that. I think I have to look this word up. Septum defect on the heart.
Okay.
Do you understand? Yeah. She was thinking of that, so I did this ultrasound, with the camera through the throat, and it was looking at my heart. But my heart was fine.
Yeah.
So then I met the third neurosurgeon. She was really good. And she was like convinced this is because of your training. Because everything else was fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm quite healthy, quite fit, not that old. I don't smoke. I don't,
yeah,
stuff like that. And she'd been working a lot with athletes who had suffered from strokes, like ski ski jumpers, freestyle skiers who fell down and cracked their head.
Yeah.
Or people doing mountain bike and stuff like that. So she was really good. She was explained everything to me, and I was a bit more calm after meeting her. But
okay.
And I ate this medicine for like a couple of months after go, and it was this for the blood to not. Sorry, I lost the English words for everything.
It's to keep the it's to keep the it's kind of like taking a Tylenol. It keeps the blood thin, right? So it doesn't clot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you took that for how long?
Yeah, but I was eating that 5 months, I think.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And I didn't really. I felt a bit strange eating those pills, but nowadays I don't take anything, and I'm declared healthy in Mars in 2018.
Yeah. Okay.
So nowadays I don't feel anything from the stroke. I don't have any like side effects or.
That's good.
Yeah, that's really good. But I was so happy to get in contact with you, because when I was training, if I knew about this, I would have tapped a lot earlier. During this show, I would have tapped a lot earlier, and I maybe still have been able to train.
Yeah.
With my friends.
Yeah, it might never have happened, right?
Yeah, exactly, because of the awareness. For me, it wasn't in my head that, this is really, really dangerous.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get a lot of pressure at your neck, and, just tap in time. Because if you compare it to an arm bar, or anything like that, I tap immediately, because I get injured,
Yeah.
But when it comes to, maybe a chokehold or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if you read the or watched the video. I was on a podcast, and the black belt who I was speaking to on the podcast said, "Man," I go, "Hey, Sean," I go, "Did you know that something like this could happen?" He goes, "Man, honestly," he goes, "it happened once in our academy to somebody, but we kind of chalked it up to, some foreign substances or like an unhealthy lifestyle. So we were kind of like, yeah, whatever." He goes, "But now hearing your story and hearing the other stories," he goes, "and the funny thing is," he goes, "I tell people in our academy," he goes, "tap quick to those knee bars, tap quick to those toe holds and ankle locks, tap quick to but fight out of the chokes. Don't fight out of anything else." And he goes, "But now I'm really starting to think if that's maybe not the smartest way to look at it." So, and let's step back to that conversation. You're exactly right. We are tapping quick. No shame to tap into a tight knee bar. No shame to tap into an ankle lock quickly or an arm back. Tap early, tap quick. Yeah, I think that is now hearing more stories, hearing your stories. And I've got my inbox on my messages. I have more people. I just haven't gotten around to, having conversations with all of them. And also, some of them are kind of like brushing it under, and they really don't want to talk about it. And to me, I understand. They all have careers and whatnot, and sometimes there might be some stigmas hiring somebody who had a stroke, when you're thinking about medical care and like hiring an employee. So I get it. But I think that this is important, and like hearing your story does definitely reinforce a lot of things. My friend Josh, he's a black belt. He just had a stroke in January of 2019. Josh also works in the medical field, and he said that he knew that this could happen. And again, this is a black belt. He goes, "But I never thought it would happen to me." And
no, of course,
his came from the same as you. It came from a deep, heavy X choke from the guard that he wasn't tapping from because he felt comfortable. So, last summer, I was rolling in Pewaukee with my coach. His name's Mark, and his brother-in-law. And his brother-in-law is this like big, ripped yoga dude, but he's really athletic. He's
Yeah.
flexible. He's rugby, and he's in a gi, and he's learning. He's really catching on quick, and I've been training now for over 10 years, and the stigmas once you get up to the higher belts is you really shouldn't be tapping out to white belts and blue belts and whatnot. And that summer, Walker got me with a choke, an X choke, and it wasn't deep, and I probably could have fought out of it, and I was breathing, but the guy is so beastly strong. I just tapped and I moved on. Was my coach happy with me that I tapped? He's competitive, so he's probably didn't like me tapping. But then, it doesn't matter. It's me. It's my life.
It doesn't matter.
And now looking back a year later, I'm happy I tapped. And I I am at the point now with jiu-jitsu. It's like, just like you said, like we have to pick and choose our battles. And I think that we can. I do think we can play this sport for a long period of time. And jiu-jitsu's really changed, So when it was created, my understanding is it was created for the smaller, weaker person to be able to defeat somebody bigger. And now sport jiu-jitsu has changed so that it's so alpha male dominated. You look at guys like Gordon Ryan and all these, high level athletes. Athletes have begun to train. So in that aspect, it's really become a competitive sport. So guys don't want to tap and so forth. And, that type of training does carry into the academies, so that you have, when you're going to other open mats and whatnot, you need to be aware of that. But I think that we can all, if we can look past, the fact that it's what it's supposed to be, jiu-jitsu. It's not supposed to. It wasn't created to be a competitive sport. It was created for self-defense, number one, and lifestyle. And so I think that with more stories coming out, I hope that coaches start to become aware, and I hope that we can all work together as a community to adapt it. It's because we should, a lot, and I think we can, you know what I mean? But at the same time,
I think so too.
At the same time, even with tournaments, like I've been to some tournaments. I was at a tournament a couple weeks ago, and a girl got her arm broken, like a 9-year-old girl, you know what I mean? So it's like, my point is that there's got to be some restrictions in competition as well when it comes to necks and stuff like that, when guys get a hold of necks. So it's kind of a gray area. I'm not interested in getting into the whole politic of the tournaments right now, because they're big business and they're going to keep doing what they're on. I'm not going to tell them what to do. But like we both said, what we can do is just tell our stories, get our stories out there. Because to me, I just want to hear how it happened, when it happened, what did you do, because then I can compile that data and try to put together commonalities, so that I can say, hey, this is the type of stuff. Look at 2 guys I've spoken with from X chokes from the guard. So it's like, at what point do we have to open up awareness to the fact that holding those X chokes is just as devastating as an armbar. So man, that's where we're at. So I'm glad that you found me. What were you typing in? Google? Were you on Google and just typing in like strokes from chokes?
I was. BJJ Stroke.
Yeah.
Because when I did that for a couple of years ago, just after it happened to me, I found one article, I think, from the States.
Yeah, from ESPN.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Maybe about some guy who was caught in a guillotine choke.
Yeah.
And he got a stroke. And now I met a friend who's been training, and he was look into, Google BJJ choke now, and you will see. And it was so much more, stuff.
Good.
And I think it's because for me, when it happened to me, I didn't want to, accept it. In the beginning, I was like, no, it can't be a stroke. It has to be something else.
Yep.
Some head malfunction. I don't know. I was like, no, it's no stroke. It's no stroke. I'm going to be able to, to fight again and everything. But after a while, you come to acceptance and say, okay, it was a stroke.
Yeah.
For me, I was lucky. It was a small stroke.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, I had it. And, for the first year, I was, you were thinking about it all the time. Maybe looking at your phone and you're like, oh my God, this is coming again. It gets you. It's a stressful situation.
It is.
Now I feel quite, but that's why I want, the BJJ has given me so much, much fun, so much training, so much experience, all the nice coaches, the nice training programs. But as I said before, had I been aware of it, I'd been tapped a lot earlier, and maybe a different story.
Yeah.
So I want people to think about, take it easy with your neck.
100%. 100%. Well, thank you. I hope that you are able to get back into maybe some training. Like I said, I'm gonna post. I'm gonna post this interview, and that's something that you can share. Wherever you go, if you do decide to train. And have you had a conversation with your old coach since?
Yeah, I have met him. I've been to lunch with a couple of my old training partners, and everybody's like, come on, when are you going to come back? And my coach has been texting me like, how do you feel? And they're going to come train again. And I think maybe in the future. Right now, I don't know.
Yeah.
And now I see all my friends. I'm a blue belt, and now they're like soon becoming maybe purple belts or something like that. So when I come back, I'm going to be so far behind. It feels quite hard. It doesn't matter, but still,
Well, the good news about that is that those partners that you be training with that are your friends are going to be able to roll with you. And because they're more skilled, they're going to be able to roll with you better than they did before.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, like my coach and all my friends, they're going to be really easy with me.
Yeah.
And, but still, there's something in my head that was like, okay, maybe it's not a good idea to try it again. I don't know. I have to wait and see.
You have to, you do, exactly. It's to each his own.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of guys that are just going back now. I think that the other thing, I'm going to invite you to a Facebook group that we have. So it's a group of everybody, and it's all the BJJ guys, and you're going to hear some of their stories as well. They talk about how they're coming back and what they're doing, and I would say a lot of it too. It's just just being around jiu-jitsu is something. It doesn't have to always be competitive sparring either. Just being there, drilling, moving, finding ways to move. Like I've adapted completely. Like I'm not the same person I was before. There's no way. Like it's just impossible. But jiu-jitsu is still a part of my life. But it's a part of my life in a different way. I'm not still obsessed with it. It's just a part of my life. But now I'm starting to look at ways that I can combine jiu-jitsu with just movement. You know what I mean? And moving the body and drilling and trying to move in a way that's not always just sparring. And that type of adaptation to the sport for me, I found is also encourages new beginners who have never trained jiu-jitsu before, because a lot of the stories I always hear is like from the white belts. They go into these academies and they just get beat up, and that's how I was. I just got beat up. But being able to ease people in the jiu-jitsu with just more of the movement and take out some of the competitive, aggressive natures of it and put together more of the movement-based because we can still go through the motions of choking and finishing and moving without really lock it in. I can still grab, I can still cross choke, but it's different. Maybe I let go and I move on. So it's more transitional based grappling versus I'm going to get the submission, I'm going to lock it in. That's what white belts do. They get the submission, they lock it in, they don't let go. Now it's more, how do I use it to move and create opportunities? So yeah, man, I take your time, obviously, because your gut intuition is the only thing that matters. And you know, I would say, you know, someday if you do feel like you're missing something in your life, you know, jiu-jitsu could be at, you know, but when the time is right, you know, this is jiu-jitsu is not going anywhere either. You know what I mean? So
no, I know.
There's
and I was my intention was to roll until I was like, you know,
that's what we all say.
55, 60.
Yeah.
And I was worried with my hands. The thing I was like, okay, I'm gonna break a hand. I'm gonna, you know, break fingers. Not that I'm gonna get a stroke.
Right? It's insane.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
Well, good, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you too.
And I'm gonna invite you to the group. We're all gonna hang out. We're gonna figure out a time to get together, everybody, and have a big party. But I'm glad that we finally met. And whenever you need anything, just reach out and we'll stay in contact.
Yeah, of course.
I stay in contact with everybody, so it's kind of like a brotherhood, you know.
Yeah, nice. It's nice to talking to you.
All right, brother. Take care. Thank you for your time.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.